Hey, how are you, folks? It's been 35 years since Portland made the mistake of drafting LaRue Martin with the #1 pick in the 1972 draft. Don't think they'll hit on that one again. Alongside Ian Eagle, I'm Jason Horowitz. Ian, calling games for the NBA and, of course, college basketball as well. Thanks for joining us, Ian.
Great to be here, Jason.
Time to break down the lottery. We'll be doing a lot of NBA draft segments here on CBS Sportsline. This one all about the lottery. And let's start at the top here. You think this draft may see some movement here?
Oh, I think so. I think for the first time in a long time, you're going to see some legitimate trades in the NBA, whether it's on draft day or right around that July 1st date where teams can really get down to business. We've heard about it in the past. There have been rumors about it. This year, because there are teams that have certain needs and not necessarily going to be able to fill them through the draft, teams at the top of this draft that might look to make some changes.
All right, we'll get into the top of the draft a little bit, but let's start right at the very top, and that is Portland. And Kevin Pritchard, the GM of the Trailblazers, he's really keeping things inside, in-house, not allowing people to know what he's thinking. Do you think it's Oden or Durant?
Well, it's the game within the game, Jason, and we see this all the time when it comes to the NBA draft. This year, though, I do think there's some actual intrigue to the #1 pick. Greg Oden is the obvious choice for Portland. Oden is just a physical specimen. You don't see someone like this come out of college basketball all that often. This is a once-in-a-decade type of physical talent. The question marks with Oden are specifically whether or not he's got that edge, whether he's mean enough to come in and dominate right away in the NBA. I do think it's going to take a little bit of time. Similar to Patrick Ewing, defensively, there's no question mark about him. Offensively, I think that's where the development is going to have to come. If you're Portland and you don't make this pick, you will be highly scrutinized. Oden is the obvious choice, as far as I'm concerned, as the #1 pick.
All right, well, Portland with its 4th ever #1 pick. We talked about LaRue Martin. They've taken Bill Walton, Michael Thompson as well, all right, this time in 2007. Let's get into the rest of the mock draft as seen here on CBS Sportsline. You see the mock draft according to Tony Mejia, 1 through 7. He likes Greg Oden, #1. Yi Jianlian, 3 to Atlanta. Horford, 4 to Memphis. Mike Conley going to Boston. He has Brandon Wright from North Carolina to Milwaukee, and Corey Brewer to Minnesota. Now, I want to get into that #3 pick, Ian. That's Yi Jianlian from China, the 7-footer. A lot of people compare his game to that of Tony Kukoc. Do you think that's a fit for Atlanta, or maybe something that could be one of those moves you were talking about?
No, I don't think Atlanta would ever think about drafting a Yi Jianlian at #3 overall. This is a huge draft for Billy Knight, the general manager of the Atlanta Hawks. Because he's had a number of high picks in past years, he's been highly scrutinized because not all of those picks have developed as quickly as would have hoped. Sheldon Williams went at #5, the Duke product last year. I think there is a perception right now that they might draft for need, and that would be Mike Conley Jr. Is he a reach at #3? In my mind, he is a reach at #3. But the Hawks have to make the determination. Are you willing to take the best player on the board, or do you draft specifically for what this team requires? Best player on the board, in my eyes, would be Al Horford. He's a prototypical power forward. He's got the best chance of stepping in right away and helping an NBA team. Big body, he's physical. He will not be overmatched physically of the wear and tear of going inside and banging with the big boys in the NBA. He's the most ready-made player, in my mind, other than Oden and Durant. That would be the choice if I'm the Atlanta Hawks. Stockpile your good players and then make a deal. Go out, get a Luke Ridnour, get somebody at the point guard position that has a little bit more experience than maybe reaching for a Mike Conley Jr., who does have major upside. But to ask him to lead this young group of players this early in his career, that might be too tall a task.
And it is a young team. You talked about Sheldon Williams. They took Marvin Williams from North Carolina the year before with pick #2. All right, let's get into 8 through 14, the rest of the lottery, so-called here. And you talked about Atlanta with stockpiling picks. There they are at #11 as well, so 3 and 11. But from 8 to 10, Julian Wright, Joakim Noah going to the Bulls, who have the pick from the Knicks. Spencer Hawes, the freshman coming out of Washington, then Green. Al Thornton from Florida State. He would be the first senior listed here from Tony Mejia. Then Nick Young out of USC and AC Law, also a senior out of Texas A&M. Interesting there that Jeff Green he has at 11. A lot of people have Jeff Green as a top 5, maybe 6. Your thoughts on the Georgetown product?
Well, 2 things. First of all, the Boston Celtics are interested in Jeff Green because of the connection. Doc Rivers' son plays at Georgetown, so he saw a lot of Jeff Green, the Big East Player of the Year. The concerns for Green at the next level, straightforward. he doesn't do any one thing extremely well. He doesn't excel in one area of the game. He never dominated with his scoring in the Big East Conference. He was always very steady and thus won the Conference Player of the Year. I'm not sure that GMs are wowed by anything about Green physically, and that's why on some draft boards you've seen him drop. If he does get past Boston, then you could see him drop into that 11, 12 area. But I think Boston likes him, likes his work ethic. He's a great kid, and Doc Rivers certainly knows a lot about him because of his connection to his son.
And he's not going to be the type of guy that comes in and takes over a team and makes you an NBA playoff team immediately, but could be that missing piece for one of those teams at the bottom there. Maybe the Clippers 14, but they need a point guard. That's why you saw AC Law. All right, folks, plenty more segments along the way here on CBS Sportsline. We'll break down the best backcourt players available, best front court guys, and some of those guys you haven't heard of from those countries that you may not have heard of either. For Ian Eagle, I'm Jason Horowitz. Thanks for being with us here on breaking down the NBA draft segments. Take care.